Hello, Floss Tube. It's Ken here. And welcome to Floss Tube number 4. This is Saturday, November 11th, 2023, Veterans Day. I am we've got a lot to talk about today. It's been an eventful couple of weeks since I last saw you. I have to start out by saying this community is amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys. Um, I have been overwhelmed by the positive comments that I've gotten on the 3 videos thus far, and just your love and your fun and the energy that you're providing and the encouragement to keep stitching. So thank you, thank you. Um, so for the rest of you, if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to click that subscribe button down below, join the fun. Every 2 weeks or so, I'll be coming into your home and talking about life here in West Texas and what's going on personally with me, but mainly about my stitching. So in the comments, I've gotten a couple of questions. I think I've replied to everything, but some of them I wanted to make sure that more of you knew about what was going on. So first, I got a question about grime guards, um, and especially about large size grime guards for big heaven and earth designs or full coverage pieces that we're going to be working on a long time. I had never really thought about it, and I haven't looked for one because, as you guys all know, I've not done a big full coverage yet. It's coming, but I haven't started it yet. So if anybody's got ideas about large grime guards, I would love for you to share uh, below what you do to keep your fabric from picking up oils from your hand, and how you protect it. If there's someone that sells them, yeah, definitely let's give them a shout out. Um, a lot of you commented about my mill heel dilemma where I'm not liking holding the paper and it feels stiff and I feel out of control. Um, One viewer, and I am so sorry I did not get your name, recommended putting the perforated paper onto an old t-shirt, whip stitching it around, and then putting the t-shirt into a Q-snap. What a great idea. I cannot wait to get that done. And actually, I stole that idea. You'll see when we look at my current Heaven and Earth design, uh, that there's an old bed sheet that was about to be thrown out, but I needed a little bit more room on one side to get it comfortably in the Q snap, and that has really helped to hold tension and to keep things going. Um, the other question that I got was about the floor lamp that I used in, I think it was episode 2, when I was in Arkansas visiting my parents. Um, that piece is here. It's an LED magnifying floor lamp from Kirkus. It's got 2200 lumens. Uh, I adore this thing. The light is just around a ring, and then there's a large scale magnifier. The magnifier is not the best that I've ever used. I had tried to use the magnifier with just my regular bifocals, and it wasn't enough power to see the really small stitches that I was trying to do. The piece is made by Kirkus. Unfortunately, as you can see on the screen, it's currently unavailable. But when I did take a look at the Kirkus store, there were some other lamps there that looked similar. Uh, either the same power, but not with the swivel arm, or with the swivel arm and not quite as bright. Um, Sometimes the 2200 lumens, when I really turn it up, it's almost too bright. So you might not need all of that power, but if you're really struggling with some darkness um, while you're trying to stitch, this might be something to check out and see what you can find. The other question was, it wasn't really a question, it was a comment that they couldn't find me on Facebook or Insta or anywhere else. And that's That's true. I'm there. I'm just not there as a stitcher. I have another YouTube page. So shameless self promotion. It's Kenneth Freeman at KT Free Piano is the page. I am a pianist, in case you couldn't guess by the large thing sitting here behind me in the office. Um, and so I use my Facebook and my YouTube and even my Instagram to a large extent to do that. If you're interested in videos that are um, piano arrangements of Christian hymns, or for some of us coming up, I have a large collection of Christmas arrangements. There's like 86 of them. And typically I will do a carol a day during the month of December. We'll see. I've got to start recording to get that done. But I would welcome you to join me over there. If you wanted, you can either just check it out. It's all public. Share as you want to, and if you want to just know whenever there's new content, subscribe. Um, so since the last time I saw you, there's been a lot of stuff going on in my world. Uh, Three pretty big performances for me. I played for the Texas Tech University Trombone Studio recital. Went to the University of North Texas in Denton to play for 9 students competing in the Texoma competition for the National Association of Teachers of Singing, what we lovingly call NATS. Huh. Of those 9, 5 of them went to the semifinals that I played for. So it was great festivities. We were really pleased with the results. But it was a lot of playing, and I was one tired puppy after that. We drove in on Wednesday and got back home Sunday. And then just a couple of days ago, on Thursday evening, I played the monthly concert of a group known as the Singing Men of the Texas Panhandle. It's a organization within the Texas Baptist of music ministers that sing throughout this region. And it's a lot of fun, but I've had a lot of performing, and that's cut into some of the stitching, as you'll see. Um, Also, because it's Veterans Day, and because of one of the pieces you're going to see, um, I need to let you know, or I want to let you know, that I'm thinking about a couple of special veterans today. My brother, who's 12 years older, was career Air Force and lives near my parents now, and so I get to see him regularly. And there was another cousin, Jerry Bryant, who lived in Conroe, Texas, down on the lake area, who unfortunately, after he served in Vietnam and had some complications from experiences there. Unfortunately, he passed away early last week, and the services were while I was playing in Denton at the University of North Texas. So my family and I couldn't attend the services, but our thoughts were with them and the family. And today, especially, knowing how important his military service was to him, we're all thinking about Jerry again. And you'll see one piece that I stitched, or that I've started stitching, that was making me think about him. So enough with all of that. Let's dive into why you're really here, which is the stitching. I've got 4 pieces to show you this week that I've done some work on, and we're gonna see how well this works. I have pictures, and we'll see if I can get to them. So the first up is Count Your Blessings from Long Dog Samplers. And it's not there. Well, that's not going to work then. Anyway, there's a picture. I'll try to figure out how to insert it here. If not, I'll figure something else out. Anyway, here's where we are now. So the last time that we took a look at this piece, sorry, I'll find the top of the screen eventually. The last time we took a look at this screen, you can tell I had gotten just halfway through this. All of this within the border had been completed. So this week I continued the border along the top. And this is the piece that I took with me to North Texas. And so I was stitching it only late at night um, or early in the morning while we were getting ready to leave and to go out for the day to compete and to listen to music. So there wasn't a lot of time stitching, but I knew the goal was to try to get all the way across the top. I got to the end over here. I've still got two motives that I need to plug in, but this is a quick stitch and one that I enjoy when life is kind of busy. Um, this is, by the way, this is Fiber on a Whim, Milk and Honey, 36 count. And I'm stitching it two strands over um, two linen fibers. Next up comes a new start. Yay. And we had talked about this a little bit. This is from Blackwork Heart. It is Blackwork Heart from Peppermint Purple. It is a freebie on their website. You should go check this out. I've had a ball with it. I'm stitching this on 18 count Ada 1/1. And let's see if I can put something behind that that will help. There we go. And let's get that a little bit closer. This is, since it's black work, it's all back stitch. So there is no full cross at all in this. These patterns have been so much fun to stitch. They're fast, and so you can really just sit down in just maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and fill in one of the blocks pretty easily. I do have to admit, starting this piece was a lesson in humility. Um, there's an outer border. So I've got the border here on the heart, as you can see, but there's an additional border, just a single line that goes all the way around, also in black. I had tried to start with that first. I could not get it to line up. I stitched, I frogged, I stitched, I frogged. It never would get right. Um, so I finally decided, okay, do all the small boxes and get them to fit together. That'll be smaller, it'll be easier. That worked. Then I started one of the patterns, actually the one that's going to be up here in this top corner box. I couldn't get it to lay right. I just couldn't figure it out. Um, so I was ripping that out and it's like, here we go. So lesson in humility, what I thought was going to be really easy, starting it took a little bit more time. And I figured out finally I was using, I have the digital pattern in Markup XP, the iOS version of Pattern Keeper, basically. And I hadn't turned the grid lines off within the pattern, so I was seeing extra lines that weren't there and trying to stitch them in. It just wasn't working. It was an absolute mess. I started stitching this piece when I first heard about Jerry's sudden turn for the worse. Um, and just thinking about his heart and how big his heart was for his family, for his extended family. He had basically adopted my parents like his own parents after both of his parents passed away. Um, and so he's been great support and great help. And so there's a lot of love involved there. Um, and so yeah, every time I picked this up, um, it was great. And then also you notice the color wave. It's all types of shades of purple, basically, even though some of them look a little red. It's purple, which right now in October last month, purple's the color for domestic violence month. And it's also a color signifying the healing and the peace that our veterans need. And so both of those issues are very close to my heart. My sister was a victim of domestic abuse in her marriage for several years, and her children watched as that was going on. And thankfully, they both escaped. They all escaped with their lives. The abuse is over. Um, and thankfully, even though we miss Jerry, we know that he is finally at peace. Um, and that's all we can hope for. So, next up comes I'll Be Home, the big mammoth piece from Twin Peak Primitives. I'm stitching all 12 houses on one piece. When you saw this last, since I can't get the picture up, when you saw this last, I had just finished the February block. Um, this is the piece that I was stitching on this week. Sorry, I got choked. Um, so getting home later on Sunday evening, plus performances and rehearsals on Monday and Thursday, really kind of ate into this time. So yeah, I'm making some excuses, but I did get some stuff done. This is what I've accomplished this week. So I've got that first vine that's going to start around the outside border. Um, and then the left third um of the house. So there will be, kind of like the others have been. Let's try this. Like the others have been, you can see that the houses are all kind of in thirds. And so that's kind of what I've accomplished here. I've gotten that first third done. Um, it's not a hard stitch. I struggle with it because it's just blocks and blocks of solid color, and that can sometimes get boring. So, um, that's on 32 count natural brown linen, and I'm stitching that piece 2/2. Last up for this week, we've got Heaven and Earth Design Storykeep Bookshop Kid. Sorry, I'm looking that way. I'm reading it off of my notes here. I can't show you the picture the last time you saw it, so we'll just show you the piece and tell you that I've almost completed another diagonal. Ooh, that light is really a mess back there. That helps a little bit. You see, and there's my sheet. I'll figure this out one of these days, y'all. I'm so glad y'all are encouraging and patient. Um, yeah, this section in the middle, as I got further into what kind of looks like a window, but it's really a mirror up there. Um, that was getting more and more confetti heavy, and that really slowed me down. And it took a lot of time to get through that. Um, so adding this bed sheet has made a huge difference in everything. So I don't know that you can actually even see it. Well, there it kind of is. So I just took some thread and tacked this on. Um, and I did a really quick tacking and really quick little thing just to see if it was going to work. But it helped a lot. So now it stays in the frame. The tension stays much more like I like it. Um, and I can move further over to the edge. I think I'm about either 1.5 or 2.5 more rows from being all the way across the top of the piece, which will be thrilling. And then I just have to go down. So this week I reached the 10% mark on this piece. Yay! Major success. Yeah. So I'm happy with that. I'm still enjoying it, but I am getting tired of all of the browns and grays, um, and the blues. I'm getting ready for some other color to come into the picture, but I don't see it happening for a while. So we'll see how much this continues. Um, okay, so what's coming up? What are the plans? I am continuing to prepare and to kit up the conservatory because I want to start it so badly. Um, it's taking forever. It feels like to put all of that floss on floss drops and just get it ready to go. I know in the long run, I will be so thankful that I've actually just got it all prepped and done. But right now, there's part of me that's just itching to do it, but I don't want to dig through the bag um, to find just the colors I need, and that would be an absolute nightmare, and I would get frustrated quickly. Um, so actually, I have I have all the threads and the thread drops in a desk drawer here in my office, and I've got the floss rings, and actually I found some interesting ones that I haven't seen before. They're just these little bendable that will loop together. You get the idea, and there's a twist on them. So I'm using these along with some floss drops that I found on Amazon that are great. I can write on these with Sharpie, and it doesn't run. And I've tried to smudge it with my finger, and everything seems good. So I'm excited about that. So whenever I have a free moment in the office, or I just want to take a free moment, because there's a door, nobody can see in, great. Um, I just take two or three and get those done and get it prepped. I want to finish up the Black Heart, um, the Blackwork heart this week. So I'm gonna make this the focus piece for the first part of the week. It's not gonna take me long at all. Depending upon how long it takes me here in the office to get some things done today, on Saturday, and how busy tomorrow is, this might get done over the weekend. Um, I know that I'm missing a floss color that I thought I had. I remember having it in my stitching spot, and for the life of me, I can't find it anywhere, and it didn't make it to the floss ring. So heck if I know. Um, so we'll do that, and then because I figure I'll have some more time this week, I'll probably jump over to that fall for autumn piece that I have. So I'm moving out of the banner, and I think I'm gonna get to start working on some of the pumpkins down below. And with the fall weather, excuse me, with the fall weather that's coming into West Texas, I think that'll feel kind of good. Um, then the following week, the week of Thanksgiving, I'm traveling to Arkansas, not to Texas, to Arkansas to see my parents on Tuesday of that week. And part of our Thanksgiving celebration is putting up the tree and starting to decorate mom and dad's house for the holidays. So I think I'm going to take Fa La La from Madame Chantilly, and keep working on that and do a few more of maybe one or two more of the little mice carolers that are there. Um, and then, of course, right now the plan is to continue working on the Bookshop Kids Haid as well. So before I say goodbye, I do want to tell you a bit of a funny story. So as I told you, week before last, we went to Denton, to the University of North Texas for the competition, and there were three students that I work with here at the university that were going with us, and so the university was covering our expenses for hotels and food and that kind of stuff. So the faculty advisor had made reservations at an extended stay hotel just off of the interstate, um, because it was going to save a little bit of money, um, and we would have private rooms for guys and girls, um, and it was going to be the best of both worlds. because I was working with students from other schools, I took my own car as well, so I could be able to move about as needed. Um, and so I got there before everyone else did, and I checked into the hotel. Um, it it wasn't, let's just say it wasn't 3 star, wasn't 5 star. But okay, it's economy, that's fine. Maybe it's not going to be so bad when we walk in. So I walk in, get checked in, get up to the room, and actually, before I even get to the room, once I go through the locked glass door, first of all, that should have been my first cue. It felt like I had walked into the Bates Hotel. Some of the creepiest looking people, really slow, noisy elevators, um, the rooms, to be candid without being graphic. I had been told that they had just been mopped and cleaned, but yet the floors were still very sticky, and there were some questionable substances in my room. So I put everything in the room. I texted the other crew to let them know I was here and I'd seen them when they got here. And I started looking for another hotel because I love my kids, I love my students, but when it comes down to it, my life and my safety is going to take priority over theirs if it has to. They're adults, they can handle it themselves. Um, so yeah, I had already determined I was staying long enough to make sure they all got into their room, that everyone had a deadbolt on their door and knew how to use it. I was I was out. Um, so they pulled up and got there, and the faculty advisor was with them to check them in. Um, and the more we stood there waiting to get checked in and heard horror stories and just saw kind of the condition of everything, it became very clear we were not going to stay here. So my colleague got to the desk, and his only question was, "What's the charge for cancellation fee?" Um, the front desk guy just grinned, and he was like, "I'm not going to charge you anything. Your friend's already checked in, but I'll just reverse the charges, and there won't be a charge." So as soon as I heard that, I took my key and made a beeline to get upstairs, get my stuff, and get out of Dodge. I ran for this place. And so we ended up um, getting an Airbnb down in Louisville, I think is what it was called. It was like 15, 20 minutes outside of Denton. So it wasn't bad. It was right off the interstate, a pretty easy commute. And since I had my car, the 3 students and I could commute back and forth to the conference. Um, and then the faculty colleague was actually staying with his wife, who teaches at another university. And so that's why he wasn't staying with us. So yeah, that was kind of my little adventure. It was just a couple of days after Halloween, and I was thinking, I am not, I am not gonna die in this place. It's just not gonna happen. So anyway, we've we had an adventure. We laughed about it. We lived to tell the tale, and now we're back home and hoping for some calmness as we end up this fall semester here in West Texas. So I will see you in 2 weeks, and that will be the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So I will be recording in Arkansas. So just as a fair warning, some people had commented about the poor sound quality on the earlier videos. I apologize for that, but when I'm on the road, I'm just using the camera and the microphone in my iPad. So we'll just have to make do. If you see that I'm not in this setting and it's a big annoyance to you, um, don't watch. I guess that's the best thing I can tell you. But I'll record and give you a quick update on what's going on there. Um, yeah. And so I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, that you are surrounded by friends and family that you love. Um, that you have the feast that you always wish for, and that your home is filled with thankfulness and joy and laughter. Have a great week, everyone. Happy stitching.